man, am I excited for this unboxing. Let's get into the unboxing of the NANLITE Pavotube 15X2. Welcome back to the channel for those of you that have been here before, and for those of you that are new, welcome. My name's Austin, and welcome to this unboxing of the NANLITE Pavotube 15X Mark II. Now, we've had a set of Pavotube 30Cs and a few, I think we have 4 of the 6C Mark II, and they've become an integral part of our lighting kit. There's a lot of reasons for this, but mainly the portability factor. They're lightweight, they can be rigged up really anywhere, they're battery powered. They offer a wealth of different options in terms of lighting, from color to effects, as well as color accurate white and tungsten diodes that can mix an array of color temperatures from 2700 all the way to 6500 on the 30Cs. And I'm really excited to see how these just continue to expand. I have a little bit of experience with this form factor from using the 6C Mark II, which was very similar in its design, moving to buttons versus dials, and the built-in magnets, things like that, that just take the portability, the functionality of the Pavotube C range and expanding on it, making it just that much better. And shout out to NANLITE. I really just think that they've continued to make the best value tube LED lighting that's out there on the market. And before we get into the unboxing, I just want to shout out NANLITE. I really think that NANLITE has pretty much nailed it with this set of lights. I'm excited to really test them out, put them to the test in the field, see if they last. We did have a 30C that was broken just from trying to transport it. We traveled with it a few times. It was, banged around in transit, and it did get broken, but they replaced it for free with a brand new one. So shout out to NANLITE for making quality products that are actually affordable and really are a pretty close replacement to the industry standard of the Astera line of tubes. So shout out to NANLITE, great job, and I'm really excited to get into this unboxing. So let's do it. Get out my trusty Leatherman Skeletool here. We'll cut the box open. So inside the box, we have this carry case here. Okay, first impressions. Like I said, we have the 30C. We bought the 2-light kit of the 30C, so it came in a bag similar to this, but I will say off the bat, this is much nicer, and they've definitely upgraded their bags since the 15 and 30C were released. So let's go ahead and open this up. I'm also really happy because for some reason I thought that this came in 4 individual carry cases, which would be really annoying, and I don't know why they would do that. So I'm glad that it did not come like that. So the case all zips up, zips open, and lays flat, which is really nice for getting straight tubes out. If it were still curled up, it would be kind of tough. So I like the layout and the design that they made the case. And let's go ahead and start opening some pockets. All right, so we have one Pavotube 15C. I'll just go ahead and go through all of these quick, and then we'll actually turn one on and go through some of the functions and features. They feel a little heftier than the Gen 1. I've never held a 15C. I've only ever had the 30C, so I can't really, make a direct comparison, but this almost feels as heavy as the 30C. I would assume because it's aluminum housing instead of plastic, and that is a trade-off that I'm willing to make all day long. Like I said, we had a 30C that was damaged while we were traveling with it. They get bent. The plastic bends very easily, and it can definitely cause breakdown to the components inside. So I'm really glad they went with an aluminum housing. Even if it's a little bit heavier, I don't mind that at all. Another thing that I really, really appreciate is that they've added 1/4-20 threads here on the back, on this side, and that side's your power. I really like that they've done that. They didn't have any mounting points on the 30Cs. The end design with this flat cap is a way better design than the previous generation. And the reason that we got the 15C this time around, again, is because we have been traveling and we continue to travel. We will continue to travel. And the 30Cs are they're just a little bit too long for travel bags, and honestly finding a hard case that will protect them adequately that isn't going to already be 30 pounds on its own. When you're traveling with gear, unless you're flying Southwest every time and you get the luxury of checking 2 bags for free per person, that's 4 bags between 2 of us. You really want to pack as light as you can, and bringing smaller bags that you can fit this in. You could fit this in a hard rolling suitcase, pretty much any of them. No problem. It's going to be protected. And you don't have to worry about it bending and breaking in the longer rolling cases that we've had to take our 30Cs in when we travel. So let's go ahead and open up these middle pockets. So in here, looks like we have some chargers, power adapters. These are much smaller than the power adapters that came with the 30C, which is nice because then you don't have as much bulk if you're trying to run it out on a boom or something like that. I also like that they came with these little rubber hooks that you can hook to a light stand, so you don't have to bring your own little twist tie or something to try to hang these or rig these up on something. It comes with something, so that is very nice. Great job, Nanlite. Really just everything feels improved upon across the board. More power adapters. So in here is really just power cables, power adapters, instruction manual. You have 4 of these clear clips for mounting to light stands or something else. Here you have some little eyelets that you can screw into the 1/4-20s, and then you could thread like a fishing line or something like that through if you want to hang these from something. That's really nice that they included that. So I assume that you get a bunch of these. There's 3 in here. Let's see what's in here. Okay, so there's 8. So you get 8 of these, enough to put 2 on all 4 of your Pavotubes. So that's everything that comes in the kit. And let's go ahead and flip one of these bad boys on, and we'll see what we can do with it. Okay, I'm going to try to do this in a way where you guys can see it. So first step, we're going to flip the power switch to on. Another major improvement just right off the bat, just the display system, the runtime in real time that adjusts to the brightness. So that is a huge deal. The fact that as I adjust the brightness, it's telling me if you were to leave this light at this brightness, this would last me 12 hours, which is pretty incredible considering, you know, I could have this as a little kicker and it would last me really a whole day of shooting, which is pretty incredible. So on this, we'll just flip through the modes here. Color temperature, pretty self-explanatory. What I will say is my main concern with getting these lights, you can't really make fast changes to things. So if you wanted to do some manual dimming, you don't have the knobs like you have on the 30Cs, which could make that hard. It's definitely a trade-off that I'm willing to make. I think the button layout is much better. But what I will say is the dimming on this cranks up a little faster than on the 6C, which is really great because I think the 6C was a little bit slow. Making adjustments sometimes would take a little bit too long, and it just felt a little bit clunky. So I'm glad that they addressed that problem. It seems to be a little bit more responsive as you're adjusting things up and down. All right, so color temperature. The previous range was 2,700 to 6,000, I believe. Now this one goes all the way up to 12,000 K. Which is pretty awesome. Another addition is the green and magenta shift. I don't use that a ton. However, it's because I haven't had the option to on the 30C. So I'm excited to really be able to dial in those white color temperatures even further to be able to match fixtures. A lot of times we're setting up in commercial buildings that have fluorescent overheads, and we need to be able to match as as accurately as we can to that. That way we can, if it's overall green, we can turn our lights to be a little bit green, and then we can remove green in post to get a color balanced image across the board. So really happy that they added that feature. HSI mode really just is the same. So dim, hue, and saturation for all your different colors. Effect mode, this one I would love to get into more. One thing I appreciate is that they added a trigger button. If you have watched my 30C review, it took me a really long time to figure out how to trigger the lightning mode because there's no trigger button. It's just the enter button. So I appreciate that they added a trigger button. So you want to do an explosion, you can manually trigger this, which is pretty sweet. You can set your intensity, color temperature. You could do really whatever you want there. So that's explosion. You could do auto explosion, fireworks, bad bulb, disco, candle or fire, paparazzi, TV, police car. All of these have different parameters that you can go down into. You can change the color. You could do just blue or red and blue, blue, white, red, blue. I don't see, one thing that's surprising is that you don't have the option to do a split like this, left and right, like you could on the 30C. That's really interesting to me considering this is a pixel tube. So there are pixel mapping. Each of these diodes is addressable. So they definitely could have done a left and right red and blue police car mode. I know it's not quite the right size, but if you were to put this right outside a window, it would make it look like the lights were coming from different places. So I'm not really sure why they didn't include that, but that could be something that could be updated, fixed in a firmware update. Again, not really a deal breaker for me. Police car, storm, manual and auto, hue pulse, color temperature pulse, hue flash, color temperature flash, intensity loop, color temperature loop, hue loop, welding, and back to explosion. So those are all of your effects currently. Now, again, they put a USB-C port on this, which is really great because it makes it easy to plug into a computer to do firmware updates and things like that. I really think that they will continue to release more effects and just update these fixtures because these are quality fixtures that should last you a while. I feel like there's no reason that they can't provide firmware updates. Alrighty, then you have pixel effects, and I have not even had a chance to dive into this. I'm going to turn the intensity down so you can actually see the colors. Another thing while we're on this topic that I really appreciate about this new version of the tube, the front frosted whatever they're using for diffusion is actually diffused enough that you cannot see individual diodes through it, even to the naked eye, which is really great because sometimes at certain intensities, you could see individual diodes on the 30C and 15C in camera and with your eyes. So it's really nice that this is just a nice, perfectly soft frosted source. It's a small update, but I feel like it makes a big difference. So back into the effects mode, this is pixel effect number 1. This is rainbow. You can adjust speed and intensity. You have scroll, so that will just scroll a color. You can change this to be multiple colors. You can increase the speed of it. Make it go really fast. That's cool. Fade. Not really sure what this one's doing, but we'll change the speed. How about? Okay, so this one's just fading between different colors. Cool. All right, moving on. Multicolor. Different colors. A lot of these I feel like would be more for practical effects than anything else, but you could use some of them if you had the light really close to do some cool effects. Like they have a whole video that Nanlite put out that I think is great, showcasing all the different pixel effects. We have an intensity loop, so it'll just kind of pulse an intensity range. So you could set this from 1 to 100, and then you can change all these parameters. We're not going to get into all the different parameters, but color temperature loop, hue loop. That's kind of cool. We'll just scan the hues down the light fixture. You can change all that again. Rainbow, back to rainbow. Okay. Pixel FX mode, menu, back to color temperature. So there's no menu button on this, so you have to flip through the effects to get to menu, and then you can go down the menu and all of that. Okay, there's also a lock button on here that I don't know what that means. Okay, so it says long press the lock button. Okay, so when you do that, probably can't see this on here, but when you do that, a little lock indicator appears on the screen. And then you can't accidentally bump anything. So that's kind of nice. So you just long press it again until the lock icon flips to unlocked. So there you have it, the Nanlite 15X Mark II. These feel super solid, better than Gen 1 for sure. And we've been using them just about every shoot for the past more than a year now. So I can't imagine that these won't find their place in our kit on every single shoot. I can't wait to see how we can implement them. If you have any tips on how to use these, or maybe the coolest thing that you've ever done with a NANLITE Pavotube, let us know in the comment section below. If you have any questions, shoot us an email, hello@gloryvisuals.com. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, peace.